Today, we are playing the one, the only Monument to Endurance to the Mythic rank. Ever since Aether Drift has released, I have been playing Monument to Endurance decks to rank up. And today, I am one game from Mythic, and I'm going to show you the deck that I'm going to hit Mythic with right here. Today, we are playing a Jeskai Monument to Endurance deck. Monument to Endurance is a 3-mana artifact that says whenever you discard a card, choose one that has been chosen this turn. Draw the card, create a treasure token, or each opponent loses 3 life. Now, how do you pop off with Monument to Endurance? Well, arguably, some of the strongest cards to pair with Monument to Endurance are Artist Talent, 3 Steps Ahead, and Ill-Timed Explosion or Crackling Wit. These both have a very similar effect, one of them being just a very synergistic sweeper. The other one being a great planeswalker to try and snowball the game and repeatedly draw 3 and discard 2. Artist Talent is a 2-mana enchantment that says whenever you cast a non-creature spell you may discard a card. If you do, draw the card. So this is one way you can trigger your Monument to Endurance basically off of every single spell you cast after that. And 3 Steps Ahead is awesome because you can pay 3 and 2 and a blue to go ahead, copy it, draw 2, and discard 1. Why is copying Monument to Endurance great here? Well, once you get multiples of them, those triggers add up real fast. You just need to trigger Monument to Endurance, the -3 life to your opponent, just 7 times. So if you can copy it up 1 or 2 times, and then you trigger it on your turn, your opponent's turn, and your turn, it's pretty close to over. So that is the idea behind the deck. Let's talk about the results I've had with the deck. Okay, here is my untapped GG profile. I've been playing Monument to Endurance since Aether Drift has released, so there's a Boros Monument to Endurance deck that I had really good results with, that I posted a video on. Here is a Is It Monument to Endurance deck that I posted a video on. I played some Bright Glass Gearhulk before I played it in the standard event, and then I played a Rakdos Monument to Endurance deck. Didn't have the best results with that. I made some tweaks to it, or made a new version of it. I played a Grixis version of Monument to Endurance deck. It was alright. I still think there was some weaknesses in the color pairings along with the Monument to Endurance, but I didn't play a ton of games with it. I played a Bant Gearhulk deck where I didn't really climb with it either. And then I played this Jeskai Monument to Endurance deck. I'm 35-18 with the deck for a overall win rate of 66%, 71% on the play, 62% on the draw. Here are all the matchups that I've played with the deck. You can see I have not played a ton into mono red, but I've played into Boros decks. That's a good sign, I guess. And I guess I haven't played that much into Gruul, so lacking in the mono red matchups here, but overall pretty good. I've made some tweaks to the deck overall, but really good results with the deck. But don't take my word for how good this deck can be. I found another untapped GG profile that was playing a very similar deck. So here is Bowling Dun's profile. I noticed in the accounts that are listed hitting Mythic, there was an interesting Jeskai Other deck list that showed up. So I went ahead and clicked on it, and what do you know? It is a Jeskai Monument deck list, very similar to the one that I wanted to put together. So I will shout this person out as one of the kind of baselines for what I put into this deck, though I did make some tweaks, and really it kind of synthesizes all the different things we tried in the Boros and the Is It Monument deck lists. Notably, you can see 3 Steps Ahead, Get Lost, Rest in Peace for Graveyard Hate, Artist Talent, Lightning Helix for damage, life gain, removal, Monument to Endurance, Ill-Timed Explosion, Ride's End, Sunfall, and Roaring Furnace. We played this in the Is It version of our deck. And then the lands, it's 3 Demolition Field, no Fomori Vaults, which was interesting. But what are their results with it? They are 58-39 with a 60% win rate and a pretty good matchup against red. So that I think makes this a bit more convincing. And what rank are they? They are in numbered mythic with a very similar deck. So let's go back to our deck and talk about it real briefly. Actually, I want to shout out also, if you look at the Monument to Endurance deck list on Untapped GG, there is only 2 decks here. You have the Is It discard ones with the Marauding Mako and the Scrounging Sirey. Not performing particularly well, but you also have a Boros kind of cycling deck that uses the Monument to a bit better of effect. Now hopping back to my deck list here, what did I change, or what is noticeably different between mine and Bullingdon's, or Bullingdon's? I apologize if I'm butchering that name. I'm playing Ghost Vacuum. I think Ghost Vacuum is better than Rest in Peace. One of the very first games I played with the Boros Monument to Endurance deck on a video. If you go watch that video, if you watch the very first game, you'll see what Ghost Vacuum can do. It can win games. That's what I'll say. It's also 1 cheaper, and if we have leveled up our Artist Talent, it can be 0 mana to go ahead and play it, discard a card, and draw a card, which is very powerful with the Monument to Endurance. Besides that, we're playing Skycrash as a way to deal with artifacts, and also cycle for 1 mana, which is nice. And then I switched out the Roaring Furnaces for another, or like more copies of Ride's End and the Skycrash here. Ride's End is an awesome card from Aether Drift. When I saw this card originally, I thought, okay, this is going to be played with Beanstalk, but it is even better than just being played with Beanstalk. It is 2 mana, exile target creature or vehicle if it's tapped, or it's 5 mana and exile target creature or vehicle. Generally, you're not going to be wanting to do that. This is only bad into creatures that have vigilance. That's pretty much it, in my opinion. This card is awesome for removal. It exiles, it deals with those pesky creatures like the Unstoppable Slasher or the Heartfire Hero that is going to die and deal a bunch of damage to your face. But why is this card awesome in this deck? Is it pairs really well with Ill-Timed Explosion, because it is 5 mana value. So if you discard it to Ill-Timed Explosion, Ill-Timed Explosion is 2 mana, draw 2, discard 2, and deal 5 damage to all creatures. So that is why it works so well in this deck, is it's a high mana value spell to go ahead and discard to the Ill-Timed Explosion. Yeah, that is the big changes in the deck. Obviously, I mentioned Fomori Vault. 3 mana, discard a card, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of artifacts you control. You can put one of those into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. This is good with the Ghost Vacuum and the Monument to Endurance. We get a few artifacts out on the battlefield, and so we can start digging for things. So if we only have Ghost Vacuum out, pay 3 mana, discard a card, draw the top card of our library. Not terrible if you really need to dig for answers. But if you have Monument to Endurance, this is a way to trigger your Monument in your lands, which can be really important if you need to trigger your Monument on your turn and the opponent's turn. So that is enough yapping about the deck. Let's go ahead and hop into, hopefully, the singular game. I wanted to make a quick stop by the profile to point out, yes, 1 game away, so hopefully this will go well. Alright, this is the game. If we can win it, we're in Mythic. Otherwise, it gets complicated. Man, it's always so nerve-wracking when you're like a few games away, because it means you lose 1, you have to win 2 to get it back. This hand is questionable because we can't develop our game very easily on the first 2 turns. We can hold up removal if we play Meticulous Archive into the island. But if we play Thundering Falls, we're not going to have the white mana turn 2 for the Ride's End. But I'm not a fan of mulliganing, so we're just going to have to believe. Okay, the opponent is on an Artifacts deck. That simplifies the problem a lot because we have one of the Verges to pair with the Archive. We do not need another land. We are playing 25 because you kind of want to hit your land drops if you're playing a deck that plans to play the late game like this one. Okay, the opponent has demonstrated that they know how to party. That is a little scary. What is the right play here? So we could play out the artist talent. We could hold up rides and could hold up, yeah. Do we believe in ill-timed explosion? I'm gonna choose to believe in ill-timed explosion here. We can Skycrash something, which is nice. When you run into these big artifact decks, you can use it as removal on artifacts. Mockingbird for a flying frontliner. Memory Guardian for 1. That hurt a little bit. Sunfall is pretty nice. I think we'll play this Surveil land. If it's a land, we get rid of it. It's not a land, but a Get Lost is not particularly good into the deck. Giving them maps is, I don't think, something we want to do. We'll hold up Skycrash. We can Skycrash something, and the next turn, ill-timed explosion. And then we'll have a Sunfall to follow it up. We're taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 damage. Youch. So, as much as I want to blow up the Simulacrum Synthesizer, I think we might need to deal with something on the board here. Otherwise, we're going to take too much damage. Which is a little unfortunate. Okay, the opponent falls into some kind of trap here with the way they played that out. I don't know why they put the pumps onto their creatures that were already large, but we get to save ourselves from 4 damage. This is looking like we're going to be playing another game. I will say that. Discard. I could discard the ill-timed explosion. Do we want to discard anything? I don't think we do. 3 steps ahead is cool, but is it going to save us? That's the real question. The opponent has a haster, or one thing they can haste from the graveyard. Make a big body. Little obnoxious. I think we'll be okay for the moment here. Opponent is full speed, so if they have Meticulous or whatever the card's named, we could be in a bad spot. I think we hold on to Sunfall here. This is a risky play, but I think we just growl, create a little chump blocker, and then next turn, if they commit to the board with another thing and trigger their synthesizers, we have the Sunfall to sweep up all the massive golems, or constructs rather. That is a little annoying, but we'll be okay. Opponent does not go for our Planeswalker, which is nice. I think we will block the 5 damage. Take 3. 3 steps ahead is cool, I guess. Create an otter.
Thanks for the helping paw.
I think we want to try and hold on to Sunfall one more turn. What is on top? I don't think we need another talent. I think we can just level this up, hold up a counter spell, and chump block one more turn, and then hopefully Sunfall a bunch of giant constructs away. Unidentified hover ship. If that resolves, they get rid of a creature and we die. Yeah, I don't think we can let that resolve. We get a discount because we leveled up the talent. We will not discard our cards. I think our cards here are pretty good. Sweeper and 3 steps ahead. One has 1 mana open. Do they have an unsummon? Or a way to give it flying? A Mockingbird. Okay, that still isn't lethal. Opponent does not go in with the 1/1 because our thing's a 2/2, I guess. Makes a little bit of sense when you think about it. I guess we Sunfall. Can we hold up a counter? Yes, we can. So we'll go ahead, Sunfall, make a 1/1. We're setting up our Ral to win the game here, potentially. I thought we were cooked. I thought we were cooked. Alright, well, so we cast this counterspell, Ral will Emblem, and we'll have instant and sorcery spells you cast have Storm. So, opponent needs to get rid of Ral. And they scoop it up. Okay, well, we really didn't show off the Monument to Endurance, so we'll probably play another one, but that's mythic. That is mythic. That is so exciting. Our opponent's name is too funny. Saffron's Panharmonicon. That is funny. If you're unfamiliar, there's a content creator, part of MTG Goldfish, the MTG Goldfish channel, named Saffron Olive, and he happens to love Panharmonicon. That is about as brutal as it gets. Turn 1 duress. That is a sad place to be. Fear of missing out. Okay, what are we discarding? Carnosaur. So we're maybe a Reanimator deck, which is kind of spooky. I didn't want to rip off the Get Lost here because I don't think it's quite worth. Especially if the opponent had like turn 2 Liliana. We can take some damage here. I mean, I could Rides End it. I can do that after the damage if there's nothing relevant. Opponent. Creature of the Schism. Yeah, I'll get rid of that. That draws you cards. I will play another land. I think I'm just going to draw 2. Good place to be. I'm not going to go ahead and discard anything. I don't think we care about the Fury missing out at the moment. Opponent helping them find their land drops. Not the ideal place to be, but Bitter Reunion. Yeah, that points to some sort of reanimation shenanigans going on here. I wonder if they're playing a Rakdos Gearhulk mid-range deck. I've wanted to play that. Nope, it's just probably full-blown Reanimator. Fair enough. I will play the Artist Talent. And probably go ahead and cycle a card. Monument is nice to see. If this Fear of Missing Out goes in, we can Rides End it. And maybe discard the island, because we're starting to flood here a little bit. Lord of Barrel Merc means they're going to fill their graveyard and grab something out. I can grab back their Trumpeting Carnosaur here, so that is funny, because it's dead. It's dead. It's not even dead, it's actually exiled, which is a bit brutal, I would say. Alright, play Monument to Endurance. I don't think we'll discard a card. And I'll play another Monument to Endurance. Down to 13 we are, but it's always awkward when you're low in cards in your hand. That's why you need to get your Monument to Endurance going, so you can start drawing extra cards when you discard. Because it turns basically every spell into an additional card when you have these 2 cards together. Opponent cascading into Torch the Tower goes to hand. Crackling Wit. I don't think I could have asked for a better card. No, I probably should be a little bit more concerned about the fact they have Carnosaur, but I'm counting on drawing into an answer here, which maybe was the wrong plan. We're going to draw into 2 more cards and make some treasures. Do we get rid of the Helix? Yeah, we get rid of the Helix. Draw a card, or treasure. It triggers the same one multiple times first, and then... Okay, well, not exactly how I would have gone about this, but we will go ahead and cast the Sunfall, I think. And while we're at it, I think we'll discard this Helix.
I have a plan.
And drain our opponent for 6. Down to 14. Next turn we can play Monument, trigger both of our monuments, play the Ghost Vacuum or whatever else we draw, and yeah, that would be pretty good. Opponent scoops it up. Alright, well that is going to do it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. If you did, consider subscribing, leaving a like, letting me know what you want to see from Aether Drift, yeah, thank you so much for watching. I think we did a good job of showcasing all of the kind of powerful aspects of the deck, besides maybe 3 steps ahead. We showed off Artist Talent with Monument to Endurance. We showed off why Crackling Wit is insane with Monument to Endurance, on top of being a valid backup strategy. We won the game where we needed to win to get to Mythic, off of the fact that we just add so many loyalty counters to Crackling Wit, and so we can get that emblem and overwhelm our opponents that way. So yeah, that is going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a nice morning, evening, night, afternoon, wherever and whenever you're watching. Take care of yourself. Ciao.